a spirit-to-spirit hello from Golden Rose Psychic Radio. Thank you for joining Dr. Lauren Ciello and the healers of Golden Rose Psychic Services as they discuss revolutionary psychic healing techniques, do live readings, and take your calls.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday night. Welcome to Golden Rose Psychic Radio. I'm Dr. Lauren Ciello, and I'm here with my lovely and talented co-host, Victoria Bustillos. She'll be chiming in just a moment. Unfortunately, that Ishtar finally came back from her sabbatical, and she's sick. I think maybe a little bit too much partying while she was gone. I'm not certain. But anyway, Ishtar will not be flying by tonight, so we'll see if we can't fill in the cracks around Ishtar tonight. So we're hoping that will be feeling better soon. So tonight's show is kind of an interesting one. It's called The Cutting Edge, Quantum Energy Healing. And we have a very special guest with us. It's Chris Kehler. So Victoria will be speaking with Chris a little bit later in the show, and he's going to be doing some healing, so we're really excited about that. I just want to invite everyone who's interested in our show to maybe call in to the studio a little bit early every evening before the show. We go live on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. If you call in a little bit early, for one thing, you can get into the reading queue because we do free readings every show. But also, you get to listen to the behind the scenes, kind of the antics that go on. And obviously, if you've been listening to us for a while, you know we're pretty silly, and amusement is one of the energies we love to run. So we invite you to pop in a little bit early each and every week. Also, we need you, so please call in, whether you've got questions for Chris or maybe you want a reading and healing. The number to call in is 718-766-4194. All right, well, let's bring Victoria in. Hello, honey, what's shaking?
Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, Golden Roses. Hello, hello, Dr. Lauren. How you doing?
Hey, very good, very good. How was your week?
You know what? It's been a good week so far. It's my birthday weekend, so I had some good stuff. Saw your little shiny face this weekend. Had a good time with you. And
it was fun.
It was, and so helped me kick off the week with a smile. So so far so good.
Yeah, so Victoria and Ishtar and I got together with some friends, and we had what we affectionately call Greasy Taco Night.
Super tasty.
It was so
celebrating
good.
my 21st birthday.
And you had your first little sip of what was it? Buttery nipple?
Yes. My little bartender.
Yeah, that was Ishtar, the bartender, stirring her little cauldron, making her little buttery nipples. Very dangerous.
Yes. Adding that witchy love. Oh, thank you. I am so excited about our show tonight. I'm always interested in learning about energy healing and different ways people use it and in their practice. So I'm very excited to hear from Chris Kehler tonight, and would love to hear from our listeners out there too. On what they think about energy healing and how they use it. So, like Dr. Lauren said, give us a call. We want to hear from you. The show is all about you and how you use different practices, or you asking questions or participating in the reading. So, 718-766-4194.
We get a guest star. Yay, we have a guest. Yay. It's always so fun. Not that I don't enjoy talking to you, Victoria. I certainly do. But Chris, welcome.
Way too much fun. You guys are having way too much fun. Way too much fun.
Keeping it exciting. So, Chris, we're so excited for you to be with us tonight to talk to us about quantum energy healing. I was taking a peek at all your YouTube clips and just so informative, so interesting. So we're very grateful to have you tonight. So thank you for making time for us.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Chris, can you tell us a little bit about what is quantum energy healing?
Quantum energy healing is working within the quantum consciousness. And when you ladies are doing your Reiki, you're doing the exact same thing. When anybody's doing any kind of energy healing, you're working within the quantum consciousness. What I like to do within the work that I do is kind of describe it so people can visualize what is going on. So when you use words like quantum consciousness and the 0 point and things like that, I think people can kind of grasp it a little more and try and understand it.
Okay. And how did you get into this, to quantum energy healing?
I've only been doing this, maybe going on 6 years or so. It was 8 years ago my first wife passed away. She had a rare disease called scleroderma. Before I was doing this, I was in the printing industry. I was running printing presses, and I was working in management at my local newspaper, and I did that for like 30 years. It was my trade, and I loved it. When my first wife passed away, that enabled me to retire. So at 46 years old, I took my financial planner's advice, and I stopped working. And the old saying goes, one door closes, another door opens, and sure enough, long story short, I met somebody who does something like this, who works with muscle testing and herbs, and I took a big interest in it. Just, met a lot of people along the way. Within 1 year, I was starting to do healing work, and people are knocking on my door asking me if I can help them with their asthma and diabetes and their acne and you name it. And I just thought it would be kind of neat if I opened it as a business, as a healing clinic, healing center. 6 years later, here I am today. I'm working worldwide with people doing the healing work on Skype and on the telephone. I've got clients in Kuwait, Australia, Germany, all over the United States. It's unbelievable how it's working, and it's working very, very well.
Oh, that's great. So you do in-person and long distance. That's wonderful.
Yes.
What kind of, with the quantum healing, what kind of problems does it, like health problems, does it help, does it work with and heal and what, like if someone sorry. Go ahead.
It works with anything. Absolutely anything. What I do with my system is a two-part system. So first of all, I start off with dowsing with a pendulum. And I've got a series of charts that I've developed that when I ask questions of the pendulum, it's going to tell me, let's say somebody's got diabetes. So the pendulum's going to tell me to work on the pancreas, and it's going to tell me what the stressor is, let's say a virus or bacterial infection or some type of spiritual attachment or a negative energy or something like that. And once I find those two things, I use sacred geometry to conduct the quantum energy. So the sacred geometry I use is a pyramid that I've developed. It's a 5-tiered pyramid loaded up with different quartz crystals and shungite crystals, magnets, different sacred geometry items. And when I hold this pyramid over somebody's head, or if I'm working distance healing over the computer or on the telephone, I just hold it up to the computer or telephone. And through quantum entanglement, it's as if the person is sitting right there next to me. I make the intent. I say the words, eliminate the virus from the pancreas. And at the speed of quantum energy, it happens. And quite often, people are going to feel a tingling, a pulsing, something moving, something shifting in their body. It could be at a very subtle level, or it could be at a very intense level at times. And we're going to do a demonstration with it later, too, to show you exactly how it feels. But that's the basis of it. And then if somebody has something chronic, I go deeper into the layers to remove attachments like anything demonic, all different types of poltergeists. I go into the alien realms to remove different types of aliens. I do work within the soul with this to reconnect the soul to the person and find out what's causing, disharmony within a person's body, no matter what it is. When I work in the aura, I've got about 75 different bodies that I encompass. So I could check so many different things to see where the blockage is, move it out, and then move on to the next problem.
And you were saying, working with demonic, entities, aliens. How do they affect human health?
Well, let me give you an example. A lady came into my office just last week, and she came in. complaining that she had this pain in the side of her abdomen. It's been there for 20-plus years. So she's had her uterus taken out. She's had her gallbladder taken out, various other surgeries. The pain has never gone away. She came in and saw me. I did some dowsing, and it said that there's, demonic stuff happening. So I held my pyramid over her head, and I told Lucifer to leave her ascending colon, and all of a sudden the pain moved from the right side, where it's been for 20 years, to the left side of her body. Mm. She looked at me and says, "What just happened?" I says, now the game is afoot. Now we're going to take down Lucifer. And she looked at me like okay. So I did 2 quick clearings to remove Lucifer, sent him off to a locked-up dimension where he can't get out, and the pain has been gone ever since.
Wow. And is it pretty common, to have, aliens or demonic entities in someone's human body?
It is extremely common, more common than you think. Now, a lot of people think, you've got the devil or Satan within you, and now you're possessed, and you're going to be doing all kinds of weird things. It's not quite like that. There are some people who do have it at a certain point where it does control your life, and you end up doing bad things to people sort of thing. But for the most part, it's just, we've all got the battle with good and bad, with light and dark. It's a duality game going on. So we've all got this energy within us. And it's just a matter of how strong is it? How are you letting it control your life? Are you battling it by bringing in light and making it weak? That type of thing. With aliens, we're all born with a gray alien or a reptilian alien in our bodies, so they can access our DNA and try and get the ascension codes out of it so they can ascend along with us. So there's a lot of different aspects. Poltergeists are really big. They work along with people who are doing black magic and voodoo. They're the string pullers in our body, if you will. All these different spiritual attachments, they are more prevalent than anybody can ever believe.
And Chris, how did you get into noticing entities in the human body and knowing how to kind of come up with an intervention to get them out?
Well, I have to blame that on one of my mentors, who is my tool maker. He's in Alberta, Canada. His company's called Crystalline Incorporated. He builds the pyramids, the rings that I work with, and all the different sacred geometry. His main job, this is probably one of the highest energy people on the planet. His main job is to run energy into the earth grid every day to clear it for the ascension process to happen. That's what he does for a living. Now, the way he describes it is, envision holding your finger in a light socket for 2 hours a day and just standing there in a bathtub holding your finger in a light socket. That's the energy that he is producing and running through the earth grid to clear it out. So he is extremely knowledgeable in the aspects of alien attachments and a lot of demonic things happening and the whole fifth dimension shift process. Very, very intricate into it. That's his main job. So I do get a lot of information from him, but ultimately the spirit guides that I work with, and when I get messages and downloads through my pendulum, they give me a lot of information. And I've actually found a few different alien species that are among us that nobody's really known about yet, and started clearing them out of people, and it does make a difference. So ultimately, I do get the messages, the channelings that everybody does, and they're specified for the type of work that I'm doing. So they lead me in a direction where I know I need to go here to remove a health problem. I have to remove this type of entity or a different type of energy.
And let me ask you, you're talking about healing and clearing the body of the different entities. So, I know in doing, different healing modalities, sometimes there's talk with healers on, people and their belief. How much does one's belief affect the work? Say, for instance, say a family member refers someone to you. If you working with them, do they have to believe 100% in what you're doing, or does their belief affect the energy healing? And does that make sense?
It certainly does. Basically, if you're a person who's going to call me or come in my office, you're already a believer. People who just absolutely don't believe, you're not going to come in. If you're doing this to humor somebody or just because your wife is nagging you to do it and you come in, I'm going to change your mind. What you're going to do is stand over one of my rings or use one of my tools, and right away you're going to feel the energy change. And I'm going to use my pendulum to tell you something about yourself that only you know. So I got ways to open your eyes a little bit. If at that point you're still like, I don't believe this, I just tell you to get out and, go find a Western medicine doctor who's going to pump you full of pills. If you're a believer, you're in my office. If you're an absolute non-believer, there's not a chance that you're going to be there.
Yeah, you'll stay away, huh?
Stay away.
And, what can we do? What can our listeners out there who are hearing all of this, what can they do to protect their health and to keep it strong or, or as you're talking about different entities, what can we do to keep our health up and to keep clear?
Entity-wise, really the only thing you can do that's 100% is to get clearings done by somebody who knows what they're doing with it. And there's lots of people who try to do it, but they don't know what they're doing, and they just stir up trouble. So ultimately, you need to find somebody who knows about moving entities. I mean, if you're going to remove the Satan out of somebody's body, you've got to know what you're doing. Otherwise, he's going to pop into you or somebody else, and then you got more trouble. So you don't want to poke the bear. You want to get the bear out of the cave without him waking up. That's what I always tell people. When it comes to spirits, you need to know what you're doing. Find the right person to facilitate it. And second of all, for physical health, get some minerals in your body. Stop eating fast food and drinking soda pop. That's probably the best advice I can give you.
So quit the soda pop, quit that kind of stuff, and keep you healthy.
Get some good liquid. I do lots of work with nutrition and helping to find out where there's deficiencies in minerals in your body, because that is a very big component of our health. So I find a lot of people are deficient in certain minerals because, let's say, calcium. If you got fluoride in your toothpaste or in your water, that fluoride is going to leach the calcium out of your bones, and it's going to build up in your muscles and brain and cause you another problem. So we need to see where there's deficiencies, where there's excesses especially. Calcium excesses in the body is one of the biggest killers in the world.
And Chris, can you kind of share a recent story of working with somebody and kind of helping them resolve their health issue? I know you were talking about, somebody with, when you were talking about the entities and working with them. Can you tell us another story about, resolving somebody's health issues?
Just today I worked on somebody in Australia. They called and responded to one of my videos that I have on that if you have an inoperable brain or spinal tumor, I'm going to work on you for free. So somebody responded to it. So I started working on this person, just started asking the questions, and everybody's problem is different. You can take 5 people with cancer of the brain. It's going to be 5 different reasons. So it's just a matter of digging out the garbage, and Lucifer, Satan, Beelzebub, whatever you want to call him, is the biggest one. By removing that, it opens the door and the floodgates open, and you can find any problem within the body. But ultimately, the biggest problem within this person was iron buildup. Iron buildup is a very big cause of tumors within the body. I'm not going to say cancer because that's just a word. But the tumors in the body can be caused by an iron buildup. I helped this person to eliminate the iron in their body. I found out why they're deficient in iron, or why there's built up of iron, and that's because there's copper deficiency. Copper is the mineral that helps iron absorb into the red blood cells. If you're deficient in copper, the iron isn't going to absorb, and it's going to build up somewhere in your body and create a tumor or create something.
Wonderful. Dr. Lauren, you have a question for Chris?
I do, Chris. I've been listening very intently, and I love what you're saying. I wanted to ask you, we have some matches in the fact that, we're on our second career, maybe a way of saying that. But I wanted to ask you, from the position that you sit in as a healer, you talked a lot about the ascension, of course, which is a hot topic with all of us, and I wanted to ask you 2 questions in relation to that. One, from your perspective, where do you see that we're going, where we're heading? And the other thing is, and it's probably going to segue into what the meditation that you're going to do with us live right in a moment, but how, from your perspective in your practice, your work, your offering to brothers and sisters on the planet, How do you envision yourself seeing playing to a larger group than just one at a time? Because I don't know, maybe I'm reading you, I don't know, but it seems that you've got such a great message and such a great healing modality to one by one does get hard, and it does, speak to that for me, if you would.
The one-on-one thing, like I said before, you got to realize that everybody's health problem is different. And because I get so specific and intricate into what it is within everybody, it is difficult to do a group session for everybody. What I don't like about group sessions is quite often there's someone in that group that's got a dark streak in them, and if you open up the consciousness to everybody, all of a sudden somebody is getting into somebody else sometimes. So that I have seen happen a few times. The group thing, I have done some group stuff, and we're going to do it tonight, of course. We're going to do it for all the listeners. The group stuff is definitely something that I consider. I'm just not quite there yet. My practice is still building. I'm still lining up people and clientele to work with. And my next step is going to be probably doing a lecture circuit and doing mass healing that way once I get to that point.
Yeah, and what about teaching, my friend? It seems that, like if you could train other healers like yourself, because it's so finely dialed down to like a one-on-one healer, healing exchange from the healer to the healee. Are you planning on training this?
Yeah, I do take on some people once in a while if I feel that they're going to be open enough and follow through with it and not waste my time. I do have a person in London, England, who I've done some training with. She's doing very well at it, and quite often when I teach somebody, give them my knowledge, they take it and use it within their own what they're doing kind of thing, and
right.
We all do that. We all do
Sure.
that. But I've had quite a few people say, "Can you teach me?" And I look at them, I say, "Do you want to learn, or do you want to heal? What do you want to do with this?" And a lot of people are like, "I'm just amazed with the work you're doing, and I just want to learn it." I says, first of all, we need to clear you out and see if this is really what you need to do, because everybody's different. It was in my universal dharma to be a healer. Now, this other person psychically might have something else to do. We need to find out, are you a healer? Are you just a psychic? Are you somebody who's just intuitive? Or where do we need to go with it?
Gotcha. Well, would you mind giving us a sample?
I would love to give a sample. I love doing this. So what I'm going to do is I've got my big pyramid. You guys are going to be floored. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the pyramid up to the computer, and I'm going to run a specific energy. Now, this energy was given to me by my guides. This is a heavenly spiritual energy, and it is called the flame of the Sweth. Okay, what the flame of the Sweth is a combination of the diamond and violet flames together. And this creates just a generic, all-encompassing healing energy. So here we go. So anybody who's listening, and even on a podcast, if you're just touching the computer, if you're near the computer, you're going to feel this. So here we go. Let's do this. Let's run the flame of the Sweth through the computer, through the server, to everybody listening, to do a general mass healing of any and all health problems that need to be targeted. So now we're running the flame of the Sweth. Tell me when you feel tingling, pulsing. Anybody who's listening in, if you want to chat in, give some feedback, please do. Flame of the Sweth. Jeez. Ouch. That hurt. So there we go. We ran that energy.
Great.
What do you...
Yeah, my feet are tingling.
My head was tingling, like my crown and my face and my head. Yep, definitely felt the tingling.
Yeah, everybody's going to kind of feel it a little differently. Generally, it's just going to be a tingle. Okay, and that's the quantum energy going in and out and making adjustments. Some people might tingle an hour from now. Some people might tingle, then it goes away, then it becomes a pulse. Everybody's kind of different, the way they receive it, what is being done with it. So that is basically how it feels when I run this energy for any type of health problem.
Yeah, and it's interesting because one of my students, we were one of my one-on-one students, so she works on me. She saw a lot of energy in my feet the other day, and it's so interesting now that my feet are still tingling. So thank you, Chris. I love it.
Yeah, it's
Victoria,
possibly there's a build-up there or something.
Yes, absolutely. Victoria, does this remind you of other, because I know you know many different energies, Theta, Reiki. How does this one fit into all that? If you could, describe the flavor of it, I guess.
You know what? It reminds me almost like kind of Reiki, when you feel that pulsing, that, just feeling that energy kind of pulsing with you. That's what it feels like. It was very gentle. Chris, I had a question. How long does a session last with you? Like, do you do like half an hour sessions, hour sessions, or do they vary?
I do 1 hour sessions. That way I can schedule and everybody is getting a good amount of time.
Wonderful. Also, you know what? I was looking on your website at the different tools and your different healing, and I was looking at the ideal protein. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Ideal Protein is a weight loss product that I brought in. I have a lot of people who are asking about weight loss. Can you use energy to lose weight? And it's like, well, you can do different clearings in areas like the thyroid or different emotional bodies that may be holding on to weight, but ultimately you need to cut carbs. And this is a good way for people to start to structure their nutrition so that you can learn how to eat properly and keep the carbs out of your diet, so you can reduce your blood pressure, you can reduce your blood sugars, and lose weight and keep it off. It's a product I like to use for specific people. A lot of people aren't into the energy, especially in Winnipeg. I live in Winnipeg. It's one of the most conservative cities you'll ever meet. It's incredible. So I offer the weight loss protocol. I also do live blood analysis and foot bath detox for people who aren't into the, let's call it the hocus pocus of this type of thing.
I was looking at, you mentioned the foot bath detox, and I was seeing on your website that it says it's a pretty efficient way to rid the body of toxins. How does that work? Because I've had one, and I'm like, is it really pulling the toxins? How does the foot bath work with our body?
Well, the best way to describe, so our bodies are electric and magnetic. So let's say your liver is charged negatively in certain areas. The toxins within your liver are charged positively, so now you've got an attraction. So as soon as you run different ions, positive and negative ions into the body, it creates an alternating magnetic repel within your body. So now the toxins become positively charged and they repel from the liver. They're going to go into your lymphatic system, your blood system, pump through your body. When they hit your feet, because your feet are in kind of like a magnet with the electricity, it's going to pull the toxins out through the pores of your feet. And within a half-hour session, there's lots of gunk in the water. There's no denying that stuff has come out of your body.
Like sometimes I know different places say, oh, that gunk you're talking about, if they say, oh, if it's a certain color, it means something. Do you believe in that, like with the foot bath? Okay.
Oh, yes. If you see certain greens are going to be the color of bile, so that's cleansing your gallbladder. Anything blacks and browns is going to be from your liver. Your liver is the biggest filter in your body, so you're going to be pulling lots of junk out of there. At the beginning of the session, you always see oranges, and that is purifying your urinary system because of the color of urine. So generally, it's more or less the color matches the area of where it's coming from. You're going to see a lot of yeast in the water, lots of foamy, thick, gunky stuff. That is yeast coming out of your body.
Oh, interesting. The other thing I saw that we're all curious to hear about is your live blood analysis.
The live blood analysis is really cool. Now, of course, these are things that only can be done in my office, but the live blood analysis is a really good complement to doing the energy work. Let's say I'm working with somebody and they've come in and they say they got bowel problems, and they got heart problems. So if my pendulum says that there's a parasite in the heart, well, let's take a drop of blood, put it in the microscope, and have a look. And sure enough, 99 times out of 100, we're going to see worm parasites within the blood sample. And there's proof, positive, tangible evidence that, yes, my pendulum was right. We found parasites. Let's do a parasite cleanse. Let's do some energy work to kill the parasites. And in a couple of days, the person feels fantastic. Parasite is gone.
Awesome. Chris, thank you so much for being our guest. Give us all your contact
Yes.
info, and if you've got, anything you want our listeners to know, go ahead.
Okay, my website is chriskehler.net, ChrisKehler.net. Don't do chriskehler.com. That's a different Chris Kehler. He got .com before I did. I've got about 100 different videos on YouTube that describe my philosophies on different problems. How I give demonstrations on how my work can help you. So go onto YouTube, just do a search on my name, and you'll see my channel. Chris Kehler on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook. My sessions are $55,000 a session. Just kidding. $55 a session.
I was like, ooh, I can't.
I do $55 a session, and generally for most run-of-the-mill health problems, 4 or 5 sessions is generally going to do it. I do lots of work for people wanting to connect with the ascension, the 5th dimension. I do lots of connections with the astral body and lots of different areas that need to be connected for all this to happen in a nice transition. So I also do that type of work. I do the weight loss. I do soul work. I could do medium work. If you've got a spirit you want to talk to, we can talk to them, no problem. So basically all in one office, we can do anything.
Thank you so much, and I want to let our listeners know, from the episode page, you can link, we've linked out to Chris's website so you won't get confused with the .net, .com stuff. So, Chris, honey, thank you so much. Listen, be a friend of the show. Next time you've got some new information, something up for you, or just you want to come back and talk to us again, we'd love to have you.
Yes, thank you.
I'd love to be back. Thank you so much, ladies.
Okay,
you guys are
baby.
a lot of fun.
You too, honey.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, Victoria, that was really fun.
That was really interesting. I would love to definitely, watch more of the videos, have a session. It's very interesting. Cool stuff.
That's what I really liked about Chris is that, because I always talk about, and I don't know why I don't put it more on the website, about the principle of the HAG, being humble, accessible, and grateful. And Chris really fell into all of those categories. I just, even, he's one-on-one. He's just right in the trenches with, clients one-on-one, which I just, believe me, I know it can. You want to raise up and say, "Can we heal the world?" But Chris is right in the trenches doing it one-on-one. I really respect that. Next week we've got a special show. It's called Crystal Healing Therapies, using gemstones to increase psychic intuition. I hope you'll join us. I think Victoria's going to have a lot to share with you on the topic. Good night for now.
Thank you for joining the amazing psychic healers and teachers of Golden Rose Psychic Radio. Until next week, we'll call that a healing.